Good evening, everybody. This is 21st Century Jedi. Back after a long hiatus, and right away things aren't working right, so I need to figure out what's going on. Give me a moment. Oh, it's looking at the wrong game. That's why. Here we are. Okay. Welcome everybody. Um, for anyone who is kind of watching this stream, I don't expect to have any viewers on this one, to be honest with you, because it's been feels like it's been at least 6 months since I've streamed. I'm curious now as to how far back I have to go to find my last stream here. While I bring that up, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Um, I have, like I said, I've been on a bit of a hiatus recently, self-imposed. Um, I wasn't even sure I was going to do a stream tonight, but interesting. It's the last stream I have is August 25th. So that's not too bad. It's been a while since I've streamed, and I wanted to do this little one here tonight as a test, just to kind of, test to make sure the equipment still works, the webcam still works, because I I have intent to get back into streaming in some way. A lot has to go right though, in order for you to put yourself out there as a streamer. Um, Not only does your equipment need to be up to date and working correctly and properly and everything's functional, but um, you, the streamer yourself, you need to be in the right frame of mind mentally, be able to feel well physically, emotionally. You need to be, present and in the moment, being able to do, play the streams and stuff and be able to give your best when you decide to do a stream. Uh, so I guess that's part of the reason why I'm streaming tonight. And I picked World of Warships tonight because I wanted to pick a game that, quite honestly, doesn't require me to do a lot of thinky tonight. I would love to get back into a lot of the retro games, and I did take a hard look at all of my Commodore games tonight just to see if I could pick one that might fit the bill where I just didn't have to think a lot about it. But in the end, this won out. So let's just go ahead and jump into one. I'll take Bismarck here. I should probably get in and knock a few snowflakes off of some of my other ships, but I really don't care. I mean, um, I'm not as into this game as like I used to be. I just play it for fun now. Play it for funsies, as they say. So what's been going on? Why have I taken such a hiatus away from streaming and away from being online? Well, I think a lot of it ties into my emotional state of mind these past few months. For starters, I haven't had anything, um, nothing like traumatic or anything like, um, you know, incredibly earth shaking or, ground shattering or anything like that. I feel like I want to turn down the volume on this just a little bit, but just want to make sure that we're getting input. Yeah, we are getting input, so that's good. I don't see the game audio coming in, but that could be, it's hard to tell. Well, either way. Um, so no, nothing's really happened. Like I haven't experienced any like serious trauma or, you know, thank goodness, everybody in my family has been in good health and good spirits, especially through the holidays and stuff. And I'm hoping the same is true for you out there if you're watching this. I hope you are Um, I hope you did have a great holiday season, whatever holiday you do celebrate. Um, and I really wish nothing but the best for anyone who watches my streams. It's true. Um, the unfortunate part of all this is, I have not been able to give my best and give my emotional best to any stream since August. Um, and why is that? Why, what's going on with me, I guess is the question. My secondaries are kicking ass right now. Um, a lot of it has to do with my mental state of mind. Um, I have not been in the greatest emotional or mental state for quite a few months now. Um, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. Um, these are just the things that I've always had to deal with them, you know. Whoops. Trying to skirt around the edge of the illumination shell. Um, what's the anxiety about? What's the depression about? Why am I depressed? Why am I anxious? A number of factors. Uh, a lot of it has to do with what I'll term it as chronophobia. It may not be the strictest sense of the definition of the term, but basically, it's a fear of time that passes. You have a fear of you know the passage of time, things maybe fear of missing out in a way, but just a fear in a general of the passage of time and what it means. Um, and I've dealt with this a lot when I was younger. Um, and I'm not sure exactly how I got past it when I was younger. I think a lot of it just has to be, moving on from things and accepting life the way it is, and being able to kind of keep yourself present and in the moment, and not thinking about the future or thinking about the past and dwelling on things like that. It feels like I'm playing alone here tonight. Where is everybody? Trying to get the shot lined up here. Sorry. Um, so there's been a lot of that where, and what I mean by chronophobia and the fear of the passage of time is, let me try and boil it down to something that everyone can just about relate to. Um, it's really a grievance or a grieving of a loss. Like, for example, your childhood, right? Um, in your childhood, you might have done things with your friends, hang out with them, ride bikes together, play certain games together, do certain activities together that you just did regularly, and it was just a part of your childhood so much that you can't imagine your childhood without those memories. And yet, at some point, that time in your childhood had to end, right? So hey Zaldra, how's it going, man? Good to see you again. Um, so what I was saying was, at some point, those those shared experiences that you have with your friends, like riding bikes together and doing things like that. Eventually, they do come to an end. There's that famous, or semi-infamous quote where it's like you never know where you're gonna do your last thing with your friends together. Like, your last time you go out to ride bikes, or the last time you have a sleepover, or the last time you play Dungeons and Dragons together, or whatever. Um, and I think it's just that grief of that loss that is really, it's been impacting me in a lot of different ways. It's not just my childhood I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, like, um, my own life, my own family, my own friends, and just having your mind continually work in that frame of, is this going to be the last time I get to do this with this person? Um, it can drive you mental. It really can. And I'm fighting and trying to get beyond that. Um, and part of that is trying to stay in the moment. You know, um, I am, and I have been for a long time, seeing a therapist about it. This guy is dead in the water. He hasn't done a thing. He must have gone link dead or something. I need to get repaired. Um, sorry, I'm trying to fix something here with. There we go. I got my stats back. Okay, great. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to stay in the moment, stay present, and not let these things bother me. Um, but a lot of it is a combination of factors, not just one thing that's really bothering me. I mentioned the idea of chronophobia and stuff, and how, um, being unable to kind of stay in the moment. But also, there's other things that have been kind of weighing heavily on me, um, that have affected my ability to do things like be involved and have fun playing video games and stuff. Um, I'm I'm struggling a little bit with my job. Um, and I think it's safe to say, I mean, I don't think anybody from my job actually watches my streams. I really haven't given them the information to do so. Um, and again, I don't want to speak ill of my employment. Obviously, it is a great place to work. I'm very grateful and thankful for it. But um, I've had a lot of what they call imposter syndrome going on with it lately, where I just have not felt adequate enough for my position, that I'm not able to do, what I need to do for my job, or that I feel like I'm not doing it well enough. And I don't have a lot of evidence to, you know, prove that, other than what's in my own head. Um, Still, I can't shake that feeling that I'm with my position and what I'm doing for work these days. I'm clearly not fully happy. And when you notice that in your career and in your life, that you're not truly happy with something, it's it's noticeable. You feel it. And once you get it, and once you understand that, you never forget that feeling, I think, in your life. Because then it happens again. And if it does happen again, you recognize it and you're like, all right, I need to do something about this. I can't just, you know, sit idly by and do nothing about this and sit in this position. Um, Not doing bad in this game, actually. Hope everything's going well with you, Zaldra. I just wanted to reach out to you, man. Um, like I said, I'm just kind of spouting off about the stuff that I've been dealing with lately. Let's see, where do I want to go here? I got Amagi over here. I got Atlanta over here. We haven't lost anybody yet, thank goodness. I do like those Atlanta class cruisers. Those super duper firing turrets, those 3 turrets on the front and the back. Something about those I really like. Um, yeah, so I've got some sort of imposter syndrome going on, and I feel like I need to change things up for my employment. Um, and I don't want to get into details about whether I want to leave the company or not, because again, it's a good company to work for. I don't really have a complaint against the company itself. Um, I just I just feel like I need a change there, you know. I need to do something different to change what I'm doing to kind of give myself a little bit more hope, a little bit more happiness. Basically, trying to find something that I would like to do for a living and feel good about. Um, I've been in this same type of career for a long time now, um, and I feel like I need to change it a little bit, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at professionally. So you combine that with my mental issues that I've been going through recently, and it's been rough. It's brought me to the point where I just don't want to do things like streaming. You know, it's tough. Um, I haven't had a lot of passion or interest in doing a lot of the games I used to play. You know, I'm gonna eat one on the chin here. Yeah, I've definitely gone the wrong way here, but nobody else is helping me with this, so we're kind of just running it on our own here. Yep, there it goes. Not bad. For the first battle, I mean, there was a lot of destroyers to take out, and really, where was everybody? They're all down there in the south. Man, maybe they'll win it. We'll see. What I've found myself doing recently to try to cope and to kind of help me get through each day is indulging in what I call comfort food, but in media form. And part of that is it's really just finding things that I find comfort in. And when I say media form, I'm talking about like television shows, movies, things that I feel good about, that make me laugh, that I find funny, that I can really immerse myself into and feel good about. Um, and that's kind of helped me get through, at least to process things and again keep myself focused and grounded in the moment as opposed to letting my mind go blah everywhere. Unfortunately, that is a double-edged sword in a way because let's take Tirpitz Black. Why not? And let's go on another op. Why not? I may do an asymmetric battle here at some point. Um, Pictures are falling down. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword in a way because one of the shows that I was finding great comfort in um, was Stranger Things. And as you may already be aware, if you follow any of that at all or watch the news or anything like that, you'll know that Stranger Things is now over. So there is no more comfort to be gained from watching that show unless I want to go back and rewatch the whole series over and over and over again. Which I don't because um, I think, and again, if you've followed anything along, like in the blogosphere, any social media, you may know that like a lot of people are going through not necessarily withdrawals, but um, I saw one poster put up. It's called post series depression, where a TV show or series, streaming series, um, finishes its run after however long, and then depending on how much involvement and how the characters develop and everything like that, the viewers themselves kind of go through this post-series depression, like almost like a not really PTSD, but a depression that they feel after the fact, where it's difficult to kind of um, it's difficult to feel and to get through your emotions, to process your emotions, because something you've watched and been a part of, or at least engaged in by watching for so long, is no longer there. So now you're left to kind of grasp for like, what do you do now, type of thing. Good start here. And I think there is some truth to that. I think there is some truth to the idea that once you finish a TV series like you've been heavily engaged in or emotionally involved in some way, um, watching the characters and hoping that they, survive the series or whatever you want to call it. I think there is some truth to that, and I think that if there could be something like that, I think I may be feeling um, that post series depression now that Stranger Things is over, because I really enjoyed that show. Um, I've watched it through, I think, twice now. I should use some torps here. I can't. Let's throw those out. Get him out of the way. I need to get to repairs here. Trying to get in a good position here. And there's the Missouri. So now that Stranger Things is gone, and again, I enjoyed the show. For anybody who's watching this and wants to know, like, should I watch the show or not? If you are my age or you're Gen X or even like millennial age, I would say watch it because a lot of the stuff that you'll see there will evoke some good memories and good nostalgia, 80s nostalgia most likely. For me, it was come for the 80s nostalgia, stay for the Lovecraftian horror, which there is a lot of that. I'm going to push forward and try and hit this guy with torps. Watch out, Flander. Oh, this could get deadly here. I don't know. Throw him out there. I think it'll just stay ahead of that ship. Of course, now it's too late. Whatever. Can't quite see that ship. Got a shot on him at least. Is anybody going after them? Nobody? No one's going after these transports, huh? That's sad. Get out of the way. What are you doing? We've lost 2 ships already. Yeah, so now that Stranger Things has gone by the wayside for me, that's kind of led to another round of depression. Um, because that show's gone, I no longer have that to lean on. So now I'm trying to move on, you know, and find a good spot to, get involved with something else to try and find a new passion to get into. Or I'm not really a big TV watcher, you know. Um, there are certain shows that in the past I would go for, like Top Gear and The Grand Tour, and you know classic TV shows from the 80s and 90s or whatever, perhaps. But new TV shows don't really garner my attention so much. So it's really just been about, what can I do now? What can I do to keep myself in the moment and to continue to try and make 2026 a better year than last year, you know? Um, so I'm just trying to, do those things, to try and find those things to do. One of the things that I have found that I'm grateful for, that and I want to point this out because it does tie in a little bit to Stranger Things as well. I've noticed on social media that there's a lot of people from what I've seen, that have picked up an interest in Dungeons and Dragons thanks to that show. Like, we're talking people of all ages, not just like, you know, teenagers, preteens, early 20s. I'm talking about people from their 50s, 60s, even 70s. They're all talking about, I really wish I could get into Dungeons and Dragons. It looks like a lot of fun, they say. And it is. It is a lot of fun. And I want to say that I'm extremely grateful for the crew that I have been playing with over the past few years. Um, Foxfire being one of them. He's part of that crew, and I'm very thankful that I have that group to turn to for a few hours every other week or every week, just to play Dungeons and Dragons, blow off a little steam, um, just to have fun in a way that I used to when I was younger. Um, and that's the weird thing about it is, a lot of people seem to think that, you know, Dungeons and Dragons, well, if you played it in your teens, then, it goes back to what I was just saying earlier about, you know, losing a part of your childhood. Like, once you stop playing with that little core group of, people in your teens or young adulthood, um, people move on, they grow up, they have different lives, they have families and stuff. Excuse me. And they, as a result, you can't keep those groups together sometimes. It becomes very difficult to do that. I can't keep that one out. Flanders is going to be right in my way to do anything. Ouch. Usually I'm dead by this point, so I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Just keep shooting the other ships, I suppose. But as I was saying, you know, as you're growing up, how's the game playing tonight? It's not bad. This is only my second battle tonight, and I don't plan on playing long time tonight, for reasons that I'll get into in a little bit too. Oh, poo. But to finish my thought, when when you have to kind of give up that piece of your childhood or your young life, there's a loss and there's a grief to it sometimes, um, that you don't sometimes don't recognize till much later. You know, like, man, I really wish I could hang out with those people I used to play D&D with when I was a teenager. There's a part of me that would still love to do that. Um, I wish I could, because yeah, I know it would be fun. I know we would have a great time. So, but as I mentioned, sometimes you kind of just have to move on from those things in life, which sucks. But uh, it's a part of living. It's a part of life that you kind of have to process the grief and move on with it. Because life continues to move whether you like it or not. And that's a hard reality that I've had to try and work on, is knowing that life is continuing and moving. You know, and trying to keep up with it. But by playing with the crew that I have been playing with these past few years, I've been able to kind of recapture that little bit of childhood, um, because you do kind of feel like a kid when you play that game again. Um, just the and again, for people who are not familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, I do recommend trying to get into a group and playing it, because um, it is a fun game, and it's really not that hard to get into. It's not that difficult to play. Um, can't get this Colorado. Um, and when I say it's fun, because it's role playing. It's really like improv. It's like acting more than anything else. It's not just like numbers on a piece of paper, and just rolling a bunch of dice and seeing what happens. It's more than that. It's you pretending to be a character. And there's no wrong way necessarily for you to pretend to be your character that you're playing. Such a flat trajectory. Jeez. If you want to play a fighter who's got a strange aversion to plants, or you want to play a rogue who can't help but try to pick the pocket of everyone they see, even their own friends, that's up to you, you know? Um, Usually the dungeon master will, give you a lot of latitude to play your character the way you want to. As long as you're not being a jerk about it, I think it's great. All right, we completed that one. I think we'll do an ASIM battle now. All right. So the fun is in playing that character, and the scenarios and situations you get yourself into, and the jokes that kind of automatically happen as a result. There's an organic comedy that happens when you play Dungeons and Dragons or any other role playing game. Um, there is an organic comedy that happens when you're with people. You get into funny situations and stuff, or you think of something funny, and it may not be within the game itself. You may be saying it out of character or whatever, but it's still funny and makes people laugh. And um, eventually, you build that camaraderie where you start laughing at everything. Can I still get these things or not? Oh, lucky. Why are they all Asian ornaments? I don't understand. I see. So I have to keep playing battles, apparently. All right, let's take Odin. I have a container to open. Why not? And if you're thinking about playing Dungeons and Dragons and you haven't done it yet, don't hesitate. Do if it's something you want to try, go for it. Um, just about every group that I've ever been in, or every person I've ever encountered that plays Dungeons and Dragons or any other role playing game, um, they're super friendly and super helpful. They are patient. They can explain rules, and they can talk you through rules and help you. Like, don't feel like you're gonna like mess up when you play the game, right? You go in there and you if you don't know how to do something, just ask, and the rest of the group will walk you through it to the point where you'll start figuring out on your own, and you'll be able to like, oh, I need to roll this die, and I need to do this, I need to look at this number. You'll figure it out. You will figure it out. It's just a question of when, and just being patient enough with yourself while the others are patient enough with you, because they will have a lot of patience, because everybody wants to see everyone succeed in these games. That's the fun part about it. It's really just a grand way of telling a story, using these characters and these tools that we have, But it's improv and it's storytelling at its finest. Am I going to be out here by myself? Probably. I'm going to stay close to that Akatsuki here. I don't want to be left by myself here. I mentioned, how many games I might play tonight. I don't expect this stream to be a long stream. This is really just kind of a test stream just to get back into streaming in general. I want to try and take a look at this later, make sure that the camera work looks well, the sound is good, just kind of really get back into the details of making this thing good again. I can't promise that I'm going to stream on a regular basis either. And one of the things I mentioned was my sleep schedule. Um, I have been a little bit sensitive to my own sleep schedule and trying to keep it um, as close to ideal as possible because I know sleep affects my mood, it affects my well-being. So I try my best to, um, you know, make sure that I'm getting as much sleep as I possibly can. And in order to do that, it has meant that at least, recently, I've been focused more on going to bed earlier to ensure that I get enough sleep, you know? So my bedtime has probably gone down by a couple of hours just for the sake of making sure that I get enough sleep time. Um, and tonight may not be any exception, with having to go back to work and stuff. Um, so I do want to try and keep this stream short, and this game will probably be short at this rate. Look at this. This is ridiculous. I'm getting killed. I can't throw torpedoes. Cannot get out of here fast enough. That Fuso is killing me. I need to get cover behind an island or something. Nope, not gonna happen. All right, we'll do another ASIM battle. Hey, Foxfire, good to see you, man. Sorry I didn't. I was gonna send you like a advance message about that I was streaming tonight, but I was like, I'm not sure I really want anybody to watch tonight. A lot of it's been a lot of emotional soul pouring at this point. Let's pick. Let's go with an American ship this time. How about Massachusetts? Why not? I know you would, Foxfire, and I appreciate that. Like I said, I wasn't sure. I didn't really want to make this a super like formal stream tonight. This is really just a test to make sure that I can still do it. Um, I went through a lot of um, explanation in the early part of the stream about why I haven't been streaming, and you kind of know a lot of it already. But it still boils down to mental issues that. And what do I say when I talk about you know every stream in the past? What have I done? It's always been take care of yourselves, take care of each other, fins up, bubbles up. You know, always an emphasis on mental health. I have the suicide prevention lines that are up on my screen right here. So I'm definitely a huge advocate of mental health. But when I can't take care of my own mental health the way that I need to be able to stream, um, it's rough to be able to you know kind of stream on a consistent basis when your mind and your emotions just aren't in it. It's an interesting looking ship. So I'm hoping for a better 2026 for everybody, not just myself involved here. Um, I think we all could use. Thanks. I think we all could use a better year this year. I don't know how that's going to look. I don't know what it's going to take to get there, but I mean, we really could all use a break right now in terms of like having things work for us for the better. Everyone's struggling. Everyone's got issues that they're working through, whether they're, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, um, economic, even, everyone's got a lot of stuff going on. Um, and I just, for once, I would like to see it get better, not worse. All right, what's going on here? And to be fair, I mean, there have been a couple instances over the past couple weeks where I've wanted to stream and I've thought about streaming. Um, but for whatever reason, I just never came around to doing it, you know? Again, mental health being the primary driver of it all. So I'm working on that, and I'm trying to, like I said, trying to get myself in a good mental state on a daily basis where I feel like I want to have a more positive outcome and positive outlook on going to work, for example, or um, when I, have these evening hours to myself and I think I might want to stream, I want to make sure I'm in the right frame of mind mentally, you know. Um, and I'll be honest, tonight's not a good example of that. It's tonight has really been about just bearing my soul and just kind of explaining why I haven't been around. This I wouldn't want to normally stream like this, where I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling anxious. I am. I'm feeling all of those things right now, but um, I'm doing my best to kind of mask it and cover it so that I can at least provide a streaming entertainment here and attempt at least to get back into the swing of things, That was a devastating hit. This is going to be a devastating hit. Torps and torps. Here they come. All right. Let's get this guy out of the way. Two crits. Darn it. All four of those shots ricocheted. Whoa. Another battleship. Full health lurking right here. Time to run around the circle here. Open up on this guy. Dang it. Oh, I am so alone over here. This is no good. And there's a destroyer out there. There you are. Let's try and take you out. Nice. That was a nice hit. And there goes my fighter. Little help here, people. Ouch. That looked like it was going to hurt. Let's hit this guy. Ow! That hurt. Ah! Come on. How are they ricocheting off that? It's a Synop. It's not made of freaking 40 inches of armor. Appreciate the offer, Foxfire. And I will say this too. There have been a couple times. Ow! What the heck with this ship here? You need to die, dude. Die. Die, die, die. Um, there have been a couple times where I've thought about like reaching out to you, Foxfire, and taking you up on that offer to hang out. What the heck? Well, it's up to you guys now. I got some more containers to open up. Let's open those up. Try our luck. Ooh, a super container. What did we get from this? A bunch of free XP stuff. Okay, great. Stuff I'll never use. Shouldn't have done try your luck because there's no chance I'm going to get another super container right here. Oh well. I do think correcting things on the employment front, I think, are going to be a huge factor for me in the next couple months. And what I mean by that is just, and I appreciate it, Foxfire. I do. I really do. Like I said, I have been thinking about that. Oh, good. Let's put some garland on the tree. Sure. That's pretty. My tree is still up, by the way. Probably take it down next weekend, I imagine. As I was saying, I think the employment thing is something I really want to work on right now. Um, I'm getting to the point in my life and my career that I'm tired of doing work just to live. Um, I don't live to work. I do work to live. But even so, I'm tired of putting myself in situations, excuse me, where I have to constantly put myself out there for customers and always be a front facing thing, doing things that I don't feel comfortable doing in terms of, um, how do not even explaining it right. Um, it's stuff that I'm not comfortable doing. It's not, there's no moral or ethical thing to it, by the way. It's nothing like that. It's just, like I said before, it's imposter syndrome. It's like, do I really feel like I'm capable of doing this work? You know? Um, I know there's other types of work out there that I could enjoy and I could probably really dive into on a daily basis and feel good about, you know? Um, there are even some aspects about my current job where if I find them and I'm able to engage in them, I can really make the time fly, which is what you kind of want to do in a career. You want your days to go by quickly, and feel like it's not really work. Um, I don't feel that. I feel like um, I'm capable of doing the work, but I'm questioning whether or not I'm doing it fast enough, basically. Um, so I'm trying to see what I can do about that. And like I said, it's a good place to work. My manager is a good manager. My colleagues are good colleagues. No one's backstabbing me. There's really nothing itself that about the job that says, "Hey, I've got to, I really have to get out of here because it's crap." It's not. It's nothing like that. Um, it's just it's more of a me thing than it is my company that I work for. And I want to make that very clear. You know, I'm not speaking ill about my company. It's a good company to work for. I will recommend it to anybody who is even considering working there. It's just a matter of, you know, after you do something for a long period of time, and for me, it's been about customer facing stuff that I've been doing for the longest time now. Um, After a while, you get tired of it, and sometimes you just need that change. You know, and I think that's where I'm at right now. I just want that change where I can say, all right, I've done this. Now I want to do something that I enjoy, you know, that earns me money. Not fast enough. Slow down a little bit. You're going to show your broadside, King George V? Why not? Come on, reload faster. That's not going to work. Yeah, I got some penetrations, though. Excuse me. How about you? It's good to hear that you're working on the fantasy ground stuff. Like I was saying earlier, it feels like there's a lot of people out there in the world that are looking to play D&D for the first time. And if I if my life situation was a bit different, um, if my life situation was a bit different, I would consider taking on another gaming session in my life. Um, because it seems like there's a lot of potential opportunity for meeting new people, meeting new faces, which is really good for your mental health. Being able to kind of get out of your little cave a little bit and just be social, be interactive with other people. Um, and I would love to do that. I mean, I wish I had enough time where I could do that. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm already at my limit. As it is, I haven't been streaming lately. This is the first stream in 5 months, I think. um, I used to race RC cars on Tuesday nights. I don't do that anymore. Um, and a lot of it has to do with just wanting to spend more time with my family, and try to combat that fear of missing out with my family, and try and combat the chronophobia, where you don't want to miss out on any opportunities with my kids or my grandkids. So um, but yeah, there's definitely like a lot of opportunity out there, I think, for meeting new people, getting people together for playing Dungeons and Dragons or any other type of role playing game. Um, there's a lot of people out there, I think, that have wanted to do it, and like I mentioned before, I think Stranger Things had a lot to do with that. Um, we got two battleships going against that guy already. I don't think we need to do that. I'll let them take care of him. Although they're really beat up. Holy crap. I think it's cool though, honestly. And I hate to keep harping on Stranger Things, but it is really a great um, example, I guess, of if you want to know what the culture was like. And I'm going to focus this on Dungeons and Dragons for a moment here. If you really want to know what the culture was like back in the 80s when I was growing up, um, what it was like to be in that, call it nerd culture, geek culture, basically, um, where Dungeons and Dragons back then it was largely shunned. Like if there weren't people accusing it of blatant, Satanism, people were mocking you because it was a geek game, it was a nerd game, and only nerds play it, so you must be a nerd and you're not cool and crap like that. Yeah, I'll take him out. We have a destroyer over here. Hang on, Hornet, I'm coming. Yeah. Um, I know my parents had concerns about it when I was playing, and I told them I was playing it or wanted to play it. And ultimately, they let me play it, which I'm grateful for. Um, but really, I mean, that's the show does a great job of kind of depicting that it was really a shunned thing at first, and nowadays everybody, it seems like everybody wants to at least try it, you know. And no one's scared of feeling like, oh, it's a loser thing or it's not cool or anything like that. Um, there's it's no longer, people don't worry about it being, a Satanist type of thing. They don't worry about whether you're cool or not to play it. They just want to play it and try it because it sounds like so much fun, you know. I'm gonna do one more operation at least. Let's switch it up to. Oh, I have the constellation. I guess we'll try the Baltimore. Don't like that. Let's see if we can change that exterior a bit. Not very happy with that. It is a permanent? Ugh. Not sure I like that. Hmm. Yuck. That's not bad. Hunter. Splinters. Let's go with this one. And we'll go operations. Going to cruiser this time. Yeah, I don't know how Twitch notifications are doing these days. It's crazy. I know people who have been, subscribe to me or at least follow me, they don't get any notifications of it, which is primarily, I guess, some of the reason why they don't get to see me. Which is again why this is a test stream. Um, and unfortunately, I don't have a way of saying to you, I know I'm going to stream, say Thursday night or something like that. I don't even know when my next stream is going to be because it all depends on my mental state of mind. But I will reach out to you. Um, I will try to reach out to you, see if we can at least work that out, and I can at least start, letting my other followers know, hey, check this setting or something like that if you want to be notified that I'm going to be streaming again. Got a couple Colorados. Ooh, would they lose a bet? I don't like playing Colorado. Of course, in this map, ugh, this is going to be awful. I'm going to stay close to that repair ship. I'm going to stay as close as I can to that repair ship. Lob shells, let other people do the dirty work. So I don't have a good feeling about this. I do like the Baltimore class, though. Wow, way behind. There we go. Gotta get used to this firing arc. Holy crap. All right. Push the speed up a little bit here. Need it a little more. I almost dusted off Stronghold tonight because that was the last stream I did in August. Was Stronghold? I think it was Legends or something like that. But again, I just wanted to do something I didn't really have to do a lot of thinking of. I didn't want to analyze and do a lot of fast reaction stuff tonight. This is just, again, chill stream. Just hopefully sitting back, relaxing a little bit. Try to enjoy ourselves a little bit. Beat those Sunday blues. Nope. And I don't have any torpedoes. I think that Benson's got him. Oops. That Auckland's out there. Looks like they're going to help. This is a much better covered map than the last time. Last time we did this, we had nobody covering those transport ships going out. Let's use a radar. There, we know now where they are. Let's go help our buddy over here. Oh, they aren't going to need our help at this rate. Never mind. Good work, everybody. Setting a lot of fires with this cruiser. I'm surprised. How is it? Wow, I was gonna say, how is that not dead? Oh, that thing ate a bunch of torpedoes. Trying to think of the games that I've been playing lately to try and pass the time. Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts has been one that I played a lot. I've been playing that one as the U.S. And I'm just like destroying everybody around 1930 here. Um, Building like these gigantic battleships. I've almost got a battleship for every state, which, if you know anything about U.S. naval forces, then you know that 50 battleships in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts is kind of overkill. Really looking forward to this week's gaming session. I am too. I have been trying to do some of the write ups and stuff just to try and catch up on the Saturday session. Non MMO Final Fantasy games, huh? I don't know, man. I love the depth and richness of the Final Fantasy series. I don't know why, man. I think it's just the time commitment and wanting to 100% everything that keeps me from like really jumping into those games. Like I know Final Fantasy 7, I want to play that one. Um, I'd even like to play Final Fantasy 8 and some of these other ones that we've seen that are really good. Um, it's just the fear of trying to 100% the game, to max them out, get every achievement, every possible thing and stuff. You can follow strategy guides. Wow, I just got hammered on that, whatever it was. Time to take somebody out. Ow! I can't go toe to toe with this guy. Come on, man. There he goes. Look at that. My whole side of my ship got blown up. Yeah, okay. Assistant, natural selection, interesting awards. How did I do in the team on this one? Not bad. Yeah, and I'm not talking so much about like in-game achievements so much as I'm talking about the hidden Easter eggs and all the all the possibilities you can get out of them, like optional things and things like that. Because when you play through it, you want to play and do it like in a rich way of doing it to really satisfy that itch, because you never know when you're gonna play it again, right? So you might as well go all out the first time you do it, I suppose. I don't know. Part of my problem is, of course, wanting to have the passion again to play video games. And I'll be frank, these past few months, I really have not felt like playing a lot of video games. It's only been recently that I've started to kind of slowly get back into it. All right, I got one more battle in me. Let's make it a good one. What have we got here? Garlands, star garlands. That's pretty. Put some elephants on the trees. Back to port. Let's do operation tier 6 through 10, huh? Could do Wisconsin. I mean, why not, right? What kind of paint jobs can I throw on this thing? Yeah, let's go with the old school one here. Kind of like that one better. All right. I think this will be my last battle of the night. I have laundry to do, apparently. um, I do need to be in bed about an hour. I do feel like I'm not sitting in the right location here. I feel like maybe I'm trying to see, like, my camera is slightly different from the way it used to be because I've moved it, but that seems about right. Got a Missouri with us too, huh? Very nice. Ah, this is the cherry blossom. Let's use the speed of the Iowa class. Get out there and do something with it. I have no idea what that F key does. Oh, this won't bode well. I think I'm going to eat a ton of torpedoes here. Get out of the way. There goes one. There we go. Citadel hit. Another Citadel hit. Great. I have to say it's been pleasant to stream again. Um, Even if this is only like a test stream, it has felt it's felt good to do it. Um, Again, I don't know how often I can do this. I don't know like what my mental state will be from day to day. Um, I'm just kind of hoping that I can latch on to something that I feel passionate about again. Like again, old school games is really what I want to get back to. Playing the stuff that I used to play as a kid. Um, and it may be therapeutic for me as well because, like I was saying before, playing D&D is a way for me to tap back into my childhood in a way. And I think the same is true of playing some of these retro games because I played a lot of them when I was a kid. You know, so it stands to reason that if I go back to playing them, I might be able to rekindle those same feelings I used to feel. Why is no one else here? We have 3 ships to take out, don't we? Oh boy, I'm dead. Well, that's going to do it for me tonight. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. This is 21st Century Jedi reminding you, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Fins up, bubbles up, as always. Look after your mental health. Make 2026 be a year where you do everything that you can to um, take care of that mental health of yours to make sure that you know you feel good for the whole year, not just bits and pieces of it. I want to see everybody try and improve and get stronger. Foxfire and Zaldro, as always, thank you very much for joining. I'll talk to you guys later. Um, just like I said, you know, do what you can to be gentle with yourselves and take care of yourselves mentally because it's tough. We live in tough times right now. It's very difficult for us to really give ourselves that grace that we need sometimes when we're in such a pressure packed environment, whether it's your job, whether it's your family life, whether it's personal life, whatever hardships you may be going through. We all put pressure on ourselves. And not saying it's right or wrong, it's just we do sometimes have a lot of pressure on ourselves. So it's important to make sure that you feel that you are taking care of yourself and being gentle with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself is what I'm trying to say. So um, I can't tell you when I'm going to stream again. Um, if I am going to stream again, it'll probably be a Sunday night like this one. um, I would like to get back into some retro games. I will try to work with people to see if we can get the notification stuff worked out on Twitch so that we can get more people into these streams and watching them and having some fun again. That's my hope. I'm hopeful that my mental state will allow me to do that. So I will keep working on it on my own, and I hope to see you all again in the very near future. So take care, everybody. Have a great week. Hope you are able to beat those Monday morning blues tomorrow, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Take care.